Hello, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and please check out my channel for other updates. So the last update about Taste of Fate, Aliyah's gun stabs Ranbir on his stomach while Ranbir was trying to save Prachi and her wedding necklace, and Prachi rushed Ranbir to the hospital after he was stabbed on his stomach. Let's continue from there. Prachi comes to the hospital temple and asks God to save her husband. She says Ranbir is here because of me and she asks God to save him. She says, I have visited the temple to pray and take your blessings. Then why did this thing happen with my husband? She says he is my only happiness. Prachi says that she did not get her father's love. When she got it later, you have snatched it. She says Ranbir is my happiness and my life and my everything. Save him. Shahana sees Prachi crying. Prachi asks Shahana. Shahana asks, what will you get by saving him? You will save him, but how will you get the happiness? Because he is with Rhea. Shahana asks Prachi, why are you asking for Ranbir's safety? Let it be as it is happening. Prachi angrily slaps Shahana. Pallavi says Ranbir had left me and he chose Prachi over me. She says, I remember why he had returned, as I got heart attack, else he would have left me forever. She says, when I refused to bless Prachi after their marriage, Ranbir left the house and the family. She says whenever he went away due to Prachi. Pallavi says Ranbir had gone to Bangalore. I don't know what Prachi asked in the temple that he was attacked and someone tries to kill him. Rhea says God knows what had happened in the temple. Only Prachi knows about it. The doctor comes out and tells them that the operation is still going on. He asks them to wait in the waiting room and not here. Vikram takes Grandma away from there. Aliyah tells Pallavi that she will bring water for her and she goes. Prachi asks, how dare you to talk such things about Ranbir? She says, even if he doesn't stay with me, but he will be my husband always. Prachi says to Shahana that Ranbir is my everything and says she wishes to stay with him. He is her happiness. She says, I love him. He is the only one whose hand I want to hold on to. I want to spend my life with him. I know that he loves me a lot and you are saying this. Shahana says you have said that Ranbir is your life, happiness and everything, and asks Prachi if she knows what Ranbir means to her. Shahana says to Prachi that you used to lighten your heart always, but did you ever think about Ranbir? She says he used to say that you are his happiness and life. Then why are you increasing his problems? And Shahana asks Prachi to confess her feelings to Ranbir. Prachi asks, what is the use of confessing my feelings? Because my heart might break again. Shahana says to Prachi that Ranbir needs you and you can only save him. Prachi says he is in this condition because of me. Shahana says don't say this. Prachi says some goons have stolen my wedding necklace, but Ranbir came there and fought with them. They attacked him with knife. She says the doctor said that Ranbir is still holding my wedding necklace even in his unconscious state. Shahana says Ranbir knows what wedding necklace means to you and that is why he risked his life for you. She asks her to go and tell him about his child, that you are pregnant. Prachi says I cannot tell him as he is the reason. She says he did wrong with me and married Rhea. Prachi says Rhea is Ranbir's wife. Shahana asks Prachi to tell Ranbir, else she will curse herself all her life. She asks her to think how much he will love the child when he values and loves her wedding necklace so much. She asks her to give a chance to Ranbir and tell him before it is too late. The goons comes there to get the first aid. Shahana says to Prachi that if anything happens to Ranbir, then I cannot forgive you. She requests her to tell Ranbir. Prachi runs from there to tell the truth to Ranbir. She records their moment together. A song plays in the background. Aliyah sees the goons and comes to them. She asks the nurse to go out for some time. The nurse asks, are you asking me? Aliyah asks her politely. The nurse goes. Aliyah asks, what did they do? The goons tells Aliyah that they had returned after talking to her and says that they have beaten the guy and then stabbed him. He says Prachi had slit his goon's hand and they don't know what happened to her. Aliyah shows Ranbir's picture to the goons and asks if this was the guy. The goon recognizes him and asks if he is dead. Aliyah says he is in this condition due to you. Pallavi comes there and asks who are they. Aliyah cooks up a story that they are her old drivers. Pallavi takes water bottle from Aliyah. Aliyah asks the goons to leave the city. Prachi recalls Shahana's words and looks at Ranbir through the window pane. She recalls his love proposal and their recent argument. She apologized to him and says, I am sorry. I hurt you so much. Shahana feels bad for Prachi and says even I made her cry. She goes to bring water for her. Aliyah thinks of her goon attacking Prachi. Rhea comes there and asks if Ranbir will get fine. She says I will believe whatever you say and asks how did he come here. She says he was going to Bangalore. Then how did he come here? Aliyah says to Rhea that if I tell you what I am thinking, then you will get mad. Rhea asks what is it. Aliyah asks Rhea to think that they can use this in their favor and says whoever stabbed Ranbir has stabbed him as Ranbir was trying to protect Prachi's wedding necklace. The operation is still going on. The doctor comes out after the operation. Prachi asks if I can meet Ranbir now. The doctor says not now and tells her that the next 6 hours are critical, and if Ranbir doesn't gain consciousness, then he can never gain consciousness again, and asks Prachi not to leave hope and give him some time. Prachi is shocked and she thinks of their happy moment together. She runs away from there. Aliyah tells Rhea that whoever stabbed Ranbir has stabbed him because he was trying to protect Prachi's wedding necklace. Rhea asks, do you want to say that the goons whom we had said had stabbed Ranbir? Aliyah says yes. Rhea asks if they did not know about Ranbir. Aliyah says how would they know when he is not Ranbir Kapoor? She says we will use this against Prachi. We will tell everyone that Prachi is careless and she haven't told us whatever happened. She asks Rhea to scold Prachi. Rhea says if anyone asks us how we got to know about this, then what are we going to tell them? Aliyah says I will tell you how to tell the story. Prachi cries and tells Shahana that she cannot see Ranbir's condition. She says I will die without him and says she wants him as he was before. She promised to agree to his sayings and she would love him always. She asks if Ranbir will get fine. Shahana says Ranbir will become fine. Prachi says the doctor said that Ranbir should get consciousness in the next 6 hours, else. She then says that he has to come into his senses as I have to tell him about his third dream, our child. Shahana asks, what will you tell him? Prachi says I will tell him the truth. Rhea and Aliyah comes to the waiting room. Aliyah asks Rhea not to tell them. Rhea says I will not listen to anyone. She asks, did you know why Ranbir was stabbed? Pallavi says no. Rhea says Prachi was there when he was stabbed. Grandma says that is why Prachi brought him to the hospital. Rhea asks Grandma to hear her fully and then we will see how you will take Prachi's side. Aliyah asks Rhea to be silent. Rhea says I will be silent only if you heal Ranbir's injury and make him fine. She says Ranbir is lying on the bed because he was trying to protect Prachi's wedding necklace. Rhea says some chain snatchers tried to snatch Prachi's wedding necklace. Then Ranbir came there. She says Prachi convinced Ranbir that her wedding necklace matters to her a lot more than her life. She says she had convinced him. It was all a drama. Ranbir is good and he couldn't see and he fought with the goons for Prachi to save her wedding necklace. Rhea says Ranbir risked his life to save the wedding necklace. The goons had the knife and stabbed Ranbir. She says the goons stabbed Ranbir as Ranbir tried to protect Prachi's wedding necklace. She says Ranbir's life was cheap than Prachi's wedding necklace. She says I came to know this from Binny's mommy and she was there when the attack happened, so it was not a lie. Pallavi gets provoked and manipulated by Rhea. She says I know that even this time, Prachi is responsible for my son's condition. This time she has put him in trouble and says I will not leave Prachi. Vikram and Grandma goes behind Pallavi. Rhea and Aliyah smiles happily. Prachi cries and looks at Ranbir through the window pane. She says she is happy that they will become parents and she asks him to get up, talk to her and says you will get your right and happiness and you would have to get up. She cries. Pallavi comes there with Vikram. Prachi asks what happened. Pallavi asks when will you tell the truth? Prachi asks what truth? Pallavi says my son's death planning by you. Vikram asks Pallavi not to do drama in the hospital. Pallavi blames Prachi for trying to kill Ranbir and says you brought him here so that we should not doubt you. Prachi asks why will I do this? Rhea says your ego is big and you want to lower me in front of everyone. She says you have proved that I am careless and when your wedding necklace was snatched, you did not let it go because you wanted to tell about your bravery to others. Rhea says to Prachi that you have risked Ranbir's life. If you haven't done drama and show off, then Ranbir's life wouldn't have been in danger. She says due to your fake beliefs, you have sacrificed Ranbir. Prachi asks Rhea to shut up and says I did not call Ranbir there. Prachi says I was fighting with those goons and they had went. She says it seems like someone asked them to return. Rhea asks Prachi to tell her that she has sent those goons to snatch her wedding necklace. Shahana asks really? Rhea asks her to shut up. The nurse asks them to go away from there. Pallavi feels dizzy. The doctor checks her. Prachi says she might have not taken the medicines. Pallavi says I had taken my medicine. Vikram asks when. I did not see you. Pallavi asks why he goes against her and asks Prachi to go and says I don't need you. She says my BP increases if I see your face. Prachi asks Rhea to take care of Pallavi. Rhea says thanks for telling me what I should do. Aliyah asks Shahana to go and take care of Prachi. The doctor asks, did you take your medicine or not? As I have to give medicine according to that. Pallavi says she had forgotten. Vikram looks at her. Pallavi says that Prachi is responsible for my son's condition. The doctor gives Pallavi injection and asks her to take care. Aliyah says, how can you take care when your life stress is in front of you? She asks her to search for a permanent solution for Prachi and says I should not say it, but you might lose your son due to Prachi. Rhea keeps her hand on Pallavi's hand. Prachi's doctor comes to meet the doctor at the hospital where Ranbir is hospitalized and she sees Ranbir. She asks, how is he? The doctor takes her away from there. Prachi comes to Ranbir's ward and looks at him, recalling how he was stabbed while trying to protect her wedding necklace. Prachi holds Ranbir's hand and sits beside him. She says, I had asked you always to stay away from me, that I don't need you. She says she was lying to herself. She says, I need you, and she asks him to become fine. She promises that she will never hurt his heart and she will love him so much. Prachi asks Ranbir to wake up. She says, I thought that I would never tell you, but I will tell you now. She keeps his hand on her tummy and says, we are pregnant. Ranbir moves his finger. Prachi looks at him. She asks the nurse to see what is happening to him. The nurse calls the doctor. Prachi asks if Ranbir is fine. The doctor asks Prachi to go out and he checks Ranbir. Prachi recalls Pallavi's accusations. She started walking, but she stumbles and she's about to fall down. A gynecologist comes there and asks how was she walking. Prachi says Ranbir is there. The doctor says to Prachi that your pregnancy is complicated and you are walking like this. Prachi says Ranbir is there. The doctor says there are so many people to take care of him, but there is just you to take care of your baby. The doctor says Pallavi. Prachi asks the doctor not to tell anything to anyone about her pregnancy. Pallavi comes there and greets Dr. Madhu. The doctor says Prachi was about to fall. Pallavi says Prachi is not needed here and she can go home. The doctor asks Prachi to go home, else she will tell everything about Prachi's pregnancy to Pallavi, and Prachi agrees with the doctor and she leaves the hospital. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it, and please subscribe to this channel for more updates. Thank you.